Hey there Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. Alright, so in today's video we are going to be taking a look at the intimate relationships, traumas and transformation, all connected with having the sign of Aries ruling the 8th house within the natal birth chart. Now, I would like to highlight that this video is directed towards those of you who have the sign of Aries ruling your 8th house. However, it may just resonate if you also have Mars within your 8th house as well, but it is more specifically towards those with Aries on that 8th house, okay? Now, if you actually are in Aries, meaning that your sun sign is in Aries, this video may be for you if you have Aries ruling your 8th, but it also may not be for you. So it's just really about you going to whatever video suits you. So for example, if you have the sign of Cancer ruling your 8th house, go to the Cancer video. Or if you have the sign of Capricorn ruling your 8th house, then go to the Capricorn video, so on and so forth. I will be making a video for every single sign. However, before we do get started, if you would like to know more information all about Scorpio within astrology, so looking at your Scorpio house, looking at your Pluto sign and house, as well as your 8th house, the domain of Scorpio, within your natal birth chart, then I have created a Scorpio season/archetype ebook. So what I am going to do is I'm going to provide a link to that ebook in the description box below so that you can pick up your copy today. Okay, so with all those introductions out of the way, Aries ruling the 8th house. Let's do this. Okay, so firstly, I'm going to start off by looking at your approach towards your intimate relationships, Aries, followed by possible traumatic emotional blockages really to bring to your attention and make you aware of. And then we're going to finish up by really addressing your transformation. So more specifically looking at how you can evolve and grow and rise up from those hypothetical phoenix ashes, all connected with the Minerva symbol of Pluto. Okay, Aries, so firstly looking at your approach towards your intimate relationships. Now, there's a couple of things, of course, to be aware of here, and the first thing I think to be aware of is the compulsive nature, the compulsive behavior and tendencies, and how quickly, how fast you can move into an intimate relationship with someone else. You may not really think about where that intimate relationship is going to go. You just sort of lead with a passion, or you lead with a really strong desire. So there is this sense of unknowingly entering into an intimate relationship without really thinking about the long term, and this can be coming from a place of just raw, instinctive, lustful behaviors. And in this way, it could be that you innocently move into an intimate relationship. You just sort of go for it. Now, this can suggest that it makes you quite brave, maybe in terms of opening up and being vulnerable with someone else. You could be the type of person who is happy enough to open up about your vulnerabilities and your insecurities and about your past traumas with others. It's just, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm going to wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm going to let it out. That's just the way it is. However, it is the same innocence. It's the same instant level of unawareness and genuineness as well. It's quite a genuine sort of energy. But it's these things that can result in you leaving yourself very open to manipulation, open to being controlled, open for someone else to use whatever you share against you. So right off the bat, this is something to be aware of here, Aries. because this can make you an easy target to predators. However, I also think it's the same energy that helps you through potential issues with predators as well. It helps you also fight against anyone who tries to control you with emotional manipulative tactics. It gives you a real protection, because whilst, yes, you may be vulnerable and that vulnerability can be abused, so you kind of just open up about like, oh, these are my scars, these are my wounds, these are my pains, these are my hurts, like, oh, this is me. And yeah, if somebody else uses that against you, like, that can hurt a lot. But just as much though, with this, you realize that you can overcome even those things that were used against you as well. You can also overcome those. It's quite a, it's quite a fearless type of energy here. It's a very daring energy into a territory that is quite scary. And so you can be that type of person, Aries, who is able to just stand up against your fears and your inner demons and these things, possibly from your past in terms of your traumas, which we will get to. You will look at those traumas and you will face them head on, and you will be courageous to deal with them, to fight against them. You're almost on this conquest to conquer all of those things. But it's just in the process from that, you can run into people along the way who can challenge these things as well. And you will challenge just as much. You will fight and stand up just as much. So it's really good to become aware, I think, of your intentions within your intimate relationships. I mean, is it that you jump in without really thinking about it much? Do you just sort of lead with your body, with your physical energy? Do you lead with that lustful feeling? Because this is the thing, is Aries can be quite a selfish energy. It's selfish in that, right, Aries energy wants to gain for the self. And there's no shame in that, there's nothing necessarily inherently wrong with doing that. It's just that if you do that and then get butt hurt whenever you are dissatisfied, or you get butthurt because the other person isn't delivering to you the thing that you expected them to give to you because you are going at it from a more selfish outlook, then you can just find yourself really being pushed back a lot. It's like, no, you're having to sort of come to realize that it's not just all about you within intimate relationships, because there's two people, right? This could even be a situation where you do unknowingly enter into an intimate relationship, but then that other person can see how unaware you are. They can see that from the observer perspective. They can look back and be like, hey, here's an easy target. This person doesn't clue what's going on. They're just impulsive, rushing around, not really like paying attention. But I can pay attention now. I can see what I can do. You see where I'm trying to get to here? Because it's quite an innocent type of energy. It's a childlike energy. But you still have to remember that there's somebody else on the receiving end, for better or for worse. But you know what? This could even go the other way, where your intimate partner sees your vulnerabilities. They see how authentic you are. They see maybe how unaware you can be. But instead of using them against you, they use them to protect you. They use them to help you. So I feel like there is such a big lesson already here, Aries, in you learning how to step outside of yourself a little bit within your intimate relationships and really become aware of not only your actions within the intimate relationships, but the actions of others. Really focusing on that and seeing, for example, does the actions of your intimate partner line up with what they're saying? Or another example, when you open up with an intimate partner about how you're feeling, do they later on use that against you? Or do they actually see this as brave and they respect these things? They actually admire these things about you and they will not use them against you because they see or they saw just how much you expressing that vulnerability or insecurity or trauma was to you. Furthermore, Aries, it could be that you're in a relationship where there's violence, where there's physical abuse, where there's danger. You could have a history, or you could have entered into a certain intimate relationship where there was a lot of red flags. Many red flags were going off saying danger, 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 don't go there, don't go there. But you just might not have listened. And I kind of think to myself, you know, well, Aries is a very instinctive sign. It's listening to the gut reaction that we get. So for example, you could meet someone for the first time or getting to know them a few times, and there could be this gut reaction that you get that's screaming at you like, ah, don't do it, don't do it. But you just may deny it. The 8th house is really a house where we can repress and we can live in self-denial, suggesting that when those gut reactions come up for you, you may have the tendency of denying what they're telling you about that person. But yet, the warning signs, the red flags, they continue to go off. But the more you deny, the more you repress, the further you sink, the deeper you go. And the more energy is sucked from you, Aries. And the more you feel powerless, the more you feel like you're not in control. This is something to be aware of. This is something that you need to understand, because repressing those gut reactions just might lead you into some really, really dangerous territories. Now, on the other hand, it could even be that you get these gut reactions that actually tell you that something is really exciting and it's passionate and it's motivating and it's driven and it's fun. You know, those gut reactions come just as much. So whilst there can be a gut reaction telling you leave or run away, get out of there, like, no, there can also be the gut reactions that say, yes, this feels right, this is exciting, I can't wait to see where this goes. But again, it's these same gut reactions that you could also deny. Maybe out of fear, maybe because you're afraid of your own independence being sort of taken away from you in a way, and actually sharing yourself, sharing your life, sharing your life with somebody else. Maybe the thought of sharing with somebody else intimately, in terms of joint finances, you know, this way, maybe it's all just very, very scary and daunting and terrifying. Maybe you've had to learn from past experiences how to really vent for yourself and how to be an independent person. And this actually leads us on to the traumas themselves. And what we're noticing here, Aries, is how your own sense of independence and your own sense of self-identity was maybe seen as something to keep hidden, something to remain under wraps. You were sort of forced to stuff down any ounce of independence or control that you had because you placed, or other people wanted to place, their independence above yours. It was their way or the highway. And even furthering on from this, you could have grown up in an environment where there was violence, where there was arguments, where there was strong conflicts and disagreements. Could have been even physical violence within your own family. Or it could have been that you experienced traumas associated with violence. You know, you could have experienced your siblings fighting or your parents fighting. It could be that you experienced people you knew being in accidents, you know, maybe they were in dangerous situations themselves. You saw blood and guts and gore around you. Just really traumatic flashes of violence and physical abuse just happening that maybe you just tried to repress and block out. Or it could even be that your own sexual urges, your own sexual desires were denied in some way. You were told, no, this is the way sex is. This. I am in control. Listen to me. This is the type of sex life you need to have. This is what we want for you. You must conform. And so there could have been this potential to sort of look at sex in this very narrow, straight, like headstrong way, without seeing that there's other, you know, other measures, other means. So you just repress all of your own sexual desires and passions and urges. But from you repressing them down, like digging them deep down, it creates a lot of frustration, creates a lot of anger, creates a lot of resentment. And maybe on that note, you were told that certain things about your own sexuality were just not okay. And maybe that does aggravate you. But even on that note, it could be that anger itself, frustration itself, was denied. So even if it was that when you stood up to say, hey, I don't agree with this. Hey, this is what I think, right? You're trying to assert your own independence, what you thought. When you went up to do that, again, it was, no, you're not allowed to do that. Anytime you expressed anger, you got angry about something, really upset, you were seen as, no, you're not allowed to do that. And so you may have grown up with no real awareness as to how to properly stand up for yourself in an intimate relationship, or how to properly express what you want from a sexual union with someone else. So for example, looking at the bedroom area, you know, looking at intimacy and exploring sexual desires with your partner, maybe there is this sense of frigidness or uncertainty, or, oh, I don't know, like, should I do this? Should I not do this? Will this work? Will it not work? Like, what do I want? And any time that maybe you try to say no, or any time that you expressed a concern or a frustration, that same person may have just looked at you and said, well, you're selfish. You're selfish. And so you find yourself just unknowingly like in this competitive fighting energy with your intimate relationships, with your intimate partners. So this leads us on to the transformation. And a part of your transformation process, Aries, I think, starts with you trying to figure out these unresolved issues with anger, with control, these unresolved issues when it comes to your sexuality, when it comes to your desires, your passions, what you truly want, trying to address these things head on. So for example, when it comes to the anger, doing some sort of physical exercise to help your emotions regulate, getting into your body, really getting into your body as a way to let out those blocked emotions. Another thing is learning how to courageously express your vulnerabilities with an intimate partner that you trust. Looking at the building of trust firstly with someone before you just let it all out, right? Kind of going back to the beginning where we're saying here that you may not have an awareness and it's just fast and instant. There's something to be said here about you learning to pull it back, right? Pulling back the reins a little bit to identify your actions within the intimate relationships, the actions of the other person, paying attention to your gut, the gut feeling, what's it telling you? Just a bit more aware of how things are going rather than jumping in too soon and then finding yourself way down the line somewhere that you didn't expect to be and it was just from reckless, careless decisions. Just trying to understand that it's not a race. Intimacy is something that needs time to blossom and grow and build upon gradually. So if you can learn how to really create that intimate bond with someone else, you're going to find that the more intimate you become and the more trusting you become together, then the more you're going to feel safe and secure to open up and be vulnerable with that person. Another thing to help with the transformation process as well is looking at the assumptions that you can make. You may catastrophize, for example, in your brain about the worst possible case scenario, all as a way to protect yourself, as a defense mechanism. You may think that there's danger everywhere you turn. You may look at other people as just constant threats towards your own well-being. So I think it would be beneficial for you to reflect on when you assume certain things about people, or reflect on whenever you just see red. You're just like, oh, I'm so angry, I feel so intensely about this, I just want to let it out so much. You know, reflecting on it, becoming aware of it, but also, you know, communicating that. If you get that around your intimate partner, trying to build that bond and trust to say, you know what, I feel really deeply right now, like there's a certain frustration I'm feeling, I feel angry, I feel annoyed, and just letting that out in a much more rational, mature way rather than out of impulse and just chaos and destruction, and you just want to destroy everything and ruin everything and break stuff, and it's like, I don't want to do this. So yeah, because you just might just destroy a really good thing because of that intense rageful emotion that you felt in that moment. And then next thing it's like, well, now where are you? Now you have to pick up all the pieces and start all over again. So it's good to address your emotions here, learning how to master them in a way that's much more mature. So learning how to express your emotions authentically, but in a way where you're more considerate towards the other person and the connection that you both have and how that can impact the two of you together. And this brings us on to the last and final way to help with the transformation process, and that is to do with bringing out your passions, bringing out your sexual desires, letting them be known, bringing out up to the surface what makes you angry, expressing what makes you angry. If your partner is pissing you off, letting that be known. Just being able to express what is frustrating you, being able to express what you want to implement into the bedroom, being able to express what your passions are, what gets you excited within the intimate relationship. It would be a really good idea to implement new innovative ideas into the sexual intimate relationship that you have with someone, because by doing that, not only will you feel more fulfilled, but you could bring in new ways of doing things with that partner, and they may actually look at it as, hey, geez, this is really exciting as well, let's try this, you know? But it's trying to learn how to get over those possible fears that you have of letting out what you want, and instead being brave enough to really express what you want. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes my video on the intimate relationships traumas, and transformation, all connected with having the sign of Aries ruling the 8th house. But of course, looking at Mars in the 8th house as well. Now, if you do happen to have Aries ruling your 8th house or Mars in the 8th house, then please be sure to let us know what you thought of the video in the comment section down below. But with all that being said, thank you so much for watching, thank you for subscribing, and of course, if you would like to see more videos from myself and you have not yet subscribed, then go right ahead and click that subscribe button. And I will be back with another video very, very soon. Bye!